This is severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia on Dr. Don's Weather. This coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, and the East Alabama Bee Company, and brought to you in part by Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Way Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Now, from the Dr. Don Studios, in the Alpha Weather Center, here is Dr. Don.
Good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you on your Wednesday evening. And we just thought we'd jump in here and give you a little bit of an update on what's going on with our weather as we approach 8:39 Central on your Wednesday evening. Good news is, at the moment, we have no severe weather across East Alabama or West Georgia. It was a very active afternoon. We saw multiple severe thunderstorm warnings issued for East Alabama. We had tornado warnings a little further to the south, down in South Alabama. Tornado warnings in southwest Georgia. Had some pretty violent-looking storms down there in southwest Georgia. We had reports of hail all across portions of central, east Alabama in Georgia and southern Alabama and Georgia as well. So I wanted to jump in and kind of give you an idea of what to expect for the remainder of your evening and as we go throughout the rest of this week, because we're not done with this weather just yet. However, I think the best opportunity for severe weather moving forward tonight is going to be down in south central and south Alabama. We cannot rule out a thunderstorm across East Alabama and West Georgia as we head into the overnights, but the best chance for any organized severe weather will be to our south. Currently, we have a severe thunderstorm watch that covers southwest Alabama, basically from about Greenville all the way down into the Mobile area and then back over toward Pensacola in northwest Florida. Then we have a tornado watch that picks up there in extreme southeast Alabama down in the Wiregrass area, covers portions of the Florida panhandle near Pensacola all the way over to Apalachicola and even into the Big Bend areas of northwest Florida. And that tornado watch continues on over into southern Georgia. The only tornado warning we have out there at this hour is going to be way down here near Jacksonville, Florida. We have a tornado warning that has been issued for this storm to the north that's going to skirt the northern fringes of downtown Jacksonville in the next few minutes or so. So if you have folks down that way, you might want to make sure they're aware of what's going on. We do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings currently active in southwest Alabama. We'll zoom in on that. This is going to be down there around Atmore, north of Bay Minette, back over toward McIntosh, Mount Vernon, and just to the east of Centinel. They're just north of I-65, north of Saraland. So this is going to be in the northern sections of, or north of Mobile. It's Mobile down there. So this will be well north of Mobile, crossing over I-65 near Atmore in the next 30 minutes. So you folks over toward Bruton and then maybe even Andalusia need to pay attention to this storm back over toward Mobile or north of Mobile as it moves off to the east over the course of the next 32 minutes to an hour. And then zooming back out, we see a couple of severe thunderstorm watch boxes covering portions of Mississippi, Arkansas, even extreme southeastern Oklahoma, down into Texas and northern Louisiana. So that's a very large area that is currently covered under severe thunderstorm watches. And we see a couple of individual thunderstorm complexes that will be working through that area during the overnight, and they will eventually make it into Alabama. But I think that the opportunity for those storms to be severe when they get into East Alabama and West Georgia are going to be minimal because of the timing of when they'll be moving through. They could be rather strong in West Alabama and maybe even still significant once they get into central Alabama. But I think by the time they get to East Alabama, which will be after midnight, probably toward daybreak tomorrow morning, they will be weakening as they move into our area. So I think we can't rule out the possibility of severe weather toward daybreak tomorrow morning in the Dr. Don coverage area, but I think that these storms will be weakening when they move through. I don't really anticipate anything like we saw this afternoon with those severe storms that moved through Clay, Randolph, Chambers, and even over into Heard and Troup County earlier this afternoon. So all in all, having said all of that, no watches in place right now other than the flash flood watch. Now that will continue through tomorrow. But as far as thunderstorms or tornadoes, no watches out there now. I would not expect us to go under a watch during the overnight, as the storms that will be coming at us from the west should be weakening when they move into our area well after midnight, probably toward daybreak tomorrow morning. Again, some of those storms could be on the strong side, but I don't think we're looking at organized severe weather there. And so then on Thursday, for the most part, if we see thunderstorm activity tomorrow, I think the best chance for severe weather will be along and south of the I-85 corridor. So I think the best chances for severe weather tomorrow will stay south of most of our coverage area on Thursday. I'm just looking at the SPC, yeah, and it's just a marginal risk on Thursday, basically from Auburn south, and then from the Georgia-Alabama state line back towards Selma. East Alabama is not outlooked for severe weather tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. Then, as we look at Friday, we do have a marginal risk in the two-day outlook currently for East Alabama, and a slight risk for West Alabama. So we're going to have to maybe deal with some more strong storms on Friday. Saturday may be a little bit of a reprieve, and then we're probably going to deal with them again on Sunday. So it's going to be, I mean, this is a very fluid situation. There are just a lot of different things at play here. And it's kind of hard to tell you well in advance when to expect storms and when not to in this type of environment. But at least we know that our next significant chance of severe weather will probably come on Friday afternoon into Friday evening, though we certainly will deal with some storms later tonight toward tomorrow morning. And then we may have some scattered storms tomorrow afternoon, with the best chance being south of our area. And then on Friday, we could be looking at showers and thunderstorms again. Some could possibly be severe as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday night. So I'm going to put the radar back in motion. I'm also going to take off the composite. I'm going to go back to the NextRad, turn on the reflectivity, and we're going to go to Birmingham. And that'll take just a second to load, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so that you can see the county outline across East Alabama and West Georgia. And there you can see for yourself there is no activity taking place. Pretty nice evening currently across East Alabama and West Georgia. All right, so let's go over here to the chat room, see if anybody has any questions. I know I just threw a lot of information at you. I want to make sure everybody's clear on what we're talking about here. There's Miss Cecilia Newman down in Pennon, Alabama. Good to see you in here this evening. Thank you again for your support. Amanda Williams is in the house tonight. Donna Norrid Mitchum is down there at Spanish Fort. So that's where some of the weather's taking place right now. Kim Lamb is, well, she says Buffalo, so I'm assuming that's where she is. Bobby G is watching us this evening down in Fredonia. Roanoke's in the house. There's Justin Reed. That's about it. You guys are not very vocal this evening. A lot of you are on watching, so I know you're there. So if you have any questions, post them right now. We're not going to do long form coverage for you here because there's just nothing to talk about across our coverage area at the moment. Again, very quickly, I'll show you South Alabama. And there you go with with the weather that's taking place down there right now. That's a pretty nasty looking thunderstorm, and there is a warning out there for that thunderstorm. It's going to be just to the north and east of Bay Minette, just to the west of Bruton, and it is moving off to the east, right there along I-65. So that's pretty nasty. If you know anybody down there in that area, you might want to call and make sure they're aware. We've got some hail included in this storm. Don't see anything tornadic at the moment, but certainly there's some hail, gusty winds, no doubt, tremendous amount of lightning. And this severe thunderstorm warning will continue for about 11 more minutes for this part of Alabama, and that will be for the counties of, let's see here, northern Mobile, southwestern Monroe, northwestern Baldwin, southeastern Washington, south central Clark, Escambia County, and also southwestern Conecuh County. So that touches a lot of different counties down there this evening. Basically, if you're in Bruton, heads up, this storm is headed your way. Question mark for Wadley. Yep, just gave you the summary for East Alabama. Nothing happening out there for Wadley at the moment. We could have some rumbles of thunder after midnight. Don't anticipate anything severe. If we have any strong thunderstorms, probably will be toward daybreak tomorrow morning. But the outlook for tomorrow across East Alabama and West Georgia tells us that any severe weather that we see on Thursday should be south of the I-85 corridor. Our next risk of organized severe weather will come on Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Cape Coral, Florida. Yeah, give me just a second. I'll see if I can get a little data on that for you. Answer to your question, no, not out of this particular system. This is a stalled out cold front that's just hanging out across South Alabama and South Georgia. So that will not affect the weather down here at Cape Coral. Let me go back over here to the composite right quick. Boy, that's beautiful weather down there. And no, this is not a cold front that's going to push all the way into South Florida. It's kind of hung up across South Alabama and South Georgia and back into southern Mississippi and Texas, Arkansas is where all this weather is. And it's not moving. It's just kind of sitting there. It'll back up by Friday afternoon, and that's what will increase our rain chances across East Alabama and West Georgia on Friday. So, no, answer your question, this storm system will not affect the Cape Coral area. Cleburne County, you're in East Alabama, same thing for you. Don't expect anything but scattered thunder well after midnight tonight, probably toward daybreak tomorrow. Don't anticipate that being severe. Any severe weather that takes place in Alabama and Georgia tomorrow will likely be south of the I-85 corridor. Our next chance of significant severe weather will come on Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Yeah, Bobby G, I think Fredonia looks pretty good for tomorrow. I mean, again, there could be some storms tomorrow morning. Just thunderstorms, not anticipating anything severe. So I think you look pretty good down there in Fredonia, Alabama. Certain way you have to say that. Miss Francis, same thing for the Welch community. Deborah, I have not seen any confirmation of significant damage down there in South Alabama. It wouldn't surprise me if there is, though. They had some pretty nasty storms down there this afternoon. And I know that especially southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia, there was one particular thunderstorm this afternoon that was producing a tornado, confirmed large and dangerous tornado on the ground down in southwest Georgia. That thing came awfully close to the Albany area. Actually, Albany went under at least 3 tornado warnings this afternoon, one right after the other. But that one particular storm that took a track just south of Albany certainly was confirmed on the ground at some point. And that thunderstorm came out of Alabama. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is at least utility damage down there across southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia. Hey, Mike Pittman and LaGrange, good to see you. Let's see. Harrison YT, or any severe weather for where? Because you're confusing me asking me about South Florida. If you're in South Florida, that's fine. Just let me know that's where you are. I'm not sure if you're asking for about severe weather for a different location or Cape Coral that you just asked for. Just clarify what you're looking for there. I haven't heard anything about a hurricane. Let's see here. Any idea on what could cause weather radio not to alarm with warnings? Yeah, there's a couple of things that could happen. The transmitter that you are tuned to could be off the air. So when you activate the button on the radio where it says weather, I need to know, can you hear the weather forecast? If all you're hearing is static, then that means the transmitter's off the air and you're not receiving anything. If you can hear the weather forecast, yet you're not getting alerted, then odds are you don't have your radio set up properly to receive the different types of warnings. So really need a little more information as to what's going on there before I can help you troubleshoot that. Cape Coral, Florida, I don't see any severe weather in your area. It looks great down there. Beautiful weather. And again, I haven't heard anything about a hurricane. Good evening, Opelika. Good to see you, Pamela. Auburn, yeah, same thing. I think you're going to be closer to the stronger thunderstorms maybe tomorrow afternoon, but I still think the bulk of any strong thunderstorm activity will be south of Auburn on tomorrow. And then on Friday, though, Friday afternoon into Friday night may be a different story. Okay, so Misty, if you can hear the forecast, then you're tuned to the correct channel. So my next best guess, and the next thing I would check, is to make sure it's programmed properly. If you have got the manual that came with it, it'll tell you how to program it for the particular counties that you want to receive warnings and watches and alerts for. If you don't have the model number, if you don't have the manual, all you have to do is Google the make and model number of that radio, and you should have an option there to click on a manual, and it'll give you instructions on how to do that. So the next thing I would do is check the programming and make sure it's programmed properly. The indications were we had a strong tornado earlier this afternoon down in southwest Georgia, down southwest of the Albany area. This afternoon around the 3 o'clock hour, maybe the 2 o'clock hour Central Time. It got pretty nasty down there. Hey, Beverly, beautiful in Orange Beach. Just got to rub it in, don't you? Yeah, it is beautiful down in Orange Beach at this hour. Look at there. You do have a little rain to the north of you, but I suspect it is gorgeous right there on the beach this evening. There in the easternmost tip of the Alabama Gulf Coast. In my humble opinion, and no offense intended to any of you who live anywhere across the Gulf Coast, but Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Perdido Key, just the most beautiful places on the face of this earth. Gorgeous down there. But yeah, you do have a few showers up to the north of you. You got a pretty nasty thunderstorm about 35, 40 miles north of you. But that's moving off to the east, southeast. That should stay away from you down there in Orange Beach. I think you're looking pretty good there for the rest of the night, maybe. Yeah, there are some storms over in Mississippi. Let me go back out, and there you go. We have a couple of severe thunderstorm watches, different watch boxes that are active over there in Mississippi. That one, or the closest one to us, is going to be the convection that is taking place just to the west of I-55, or just east of Monticello. Cleveland, Mississippi, Greenwood, Mississippi, all getting in on the action at this hour. Yeah, those are some pretty nasty looking thunderstorms. But here's the thought process. As these storms move through Mississippi and into Alabama, they may still very well be strong when they make it into West Alabama sometime around or shortly after midnight. But as these storms make it into central Alabama, and almost certainly by the time they make it into East Alabama or West Georgia, it's going to be in the wee hours of the morning during the coolest part of the evening. And we expect these thunderstorms to be fading away as they move into East Alabama and West Georgia. And that should be sometime after about 3 a.m. Tomorrow morning. The atmosphere got raked over pretty good today across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then you factor in, we've lost the heating of the day, and we have the coolness of the overnight air. All will work against these thunderstorms by the time they make it over into central in East Alabama, and even that stuff way back up in Arkansas at some point will most likely make it into Alabama. But we think the atmosphere will have calmed down and cooled off enough to where they won't be that significant by the time they get over here. All right, so that's it, folks. I'm going to step aside now. I've got a full day tomorrow, had a full day today, and did everything I could to keep you updated as best I could. For those of you who don't know me, I do have a daytime paying job as an emergency manager in Northeast Georgia. And, of course, during the day, or if something is going on up here in Northeast Georgia, that certainly has to come first. We've been very fortunate in that our severe weather threats, for the most part, this year have been either on the weekends or during nighttime hours where I could devote a lot of time to that coverage. Well, today was a little bit different. It all happened during the day. I was still able to go live several times this afternoon. Just was not able to give you wall-to-wall coverage, which is what I prefer to do in those situations, but just wasn't permissible today. And I don't think we're going to have to deal with an event tomorrow like we saw today. I think if there's any severe weather in Alabama tomorrow, it's going to be south of Auburn-Opelika area, south of the I-85 corridor. And then on Friday, though, Friday afternoon into Friday night may be a different story. We will have an opportunity to see some strong thunderstorms out there on Friday. So I'll have an updated forecast for you out first thing tomorrow morning. We post our primetime forecast every morning around 6 a.m., and we invite you guys to like us on Facebook, head over to our YouTube channel, and be sure that you subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather, and we'll get that forecast out to you no later than 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning here on Dr. Don's Weather. I appreciate you guys joining us this evening, and we'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning.
This has been severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Coverage has been powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance Agent Jamie Dukas, and East Alabama Bee Company, and brought to you in part by Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. We will continue to monitor weather conditions across the area and return with the latest information as conditions warrant. This is Dr. Don's Weather.